It was double the pleasure, double the fun at the D-shaped Dirt Demon. Corellis electrifies the field at Lebanon Valley. Fast Eddie goes in the pits with one of the top Fonda Pro stocks. It's time to kick it into top gear. Race Pro Weekly starts now. Welcome to another exciting edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. Let's not waste any time. Let's get it started as we head to Central New York in the Brewerton Speedway. First of two features at the D-shaped Dirt Demon as Jim Whitko would take the race lead with Pat Ward in tow in the early going in the event. As they make their way through turn number 3 and 4 for the first time, Whitko would be your race leader. Car on the move. Keep an eye on that 99L of Larry White as they make their way up through the field in the early portion. They'll come around. Here comes Larry White to the outside of Pat Ward for the number 2 spot as he'd power it to the outside of the Genoa Giant as the teammates race for the runner-up position. White would take that spot away and then set his sights on Jim Whitko as that Gypsum Express car number 99L machine continued to be in tow. White would then power to the outside of the 24 of Whitko through turn number 3 and 4, and he would have the race lead on lap 20 as they come off of the corner. Whitko would now sit in the number 2 spot at the time, but the big guns were charging as Matt Shepard and the 93 of Ryan Bartlett were making their way through the field as Bartlett would go from 4th to 2nd on this move through turn number 3 and 4 right here. They would continue to race for position as they see them go 3 wide as Pat Ward trying to move to the outside as he makes contact. That's going to allow Shepard to make his way to the inside lane. It was to no avail, however, as Larry White would pick up the win in the first feature at Brewerton.
We've been working real hard to try and get this Troyer into victory lane. We've had a lot of opportunities, and last week at Fulton we had nothing but bad luck, but we had a good car the whole night, and it was just a matter of time.
White would pick up the victory. Ryan Bartlett coming home 2nd, Matt Shepard 3rd, Pat Ward 4th, and Jim Whitko rounding out the top 5. Chris Heil would finish in 6th, Robbie Bellinger 7th, Tim Sears Jr. 8th, Jimmy Phelps 9th, and Billy Decker rounding out your top 10. Feature 2 will be later in the show. 30-lap modified feature got started on Saturday night with Paul Gilardi leading the field to the green, but on the first lap, Keith Flack and the 20 of Brett Hearn got into it in turn number 3, with both of them coming down on pit road. A tough break for your current high point man. On the restart, the 87 of Gilardi and the 115 of Tremont would fight for position, but another caution would see the 98 of Eddie Marshall drop from the event. On the restart, Kenny Tremont would take the lead as he would lead up until about lap number 20 in this event. Donnie Corellis was the car on the move as the caution came out for Keith Flack once again in turn number 1. And on the restart, Corellis would do whatever he could to go around the outside of Kyle Armstrong. Corellis would put the slide job on Kenny Tremont in turn number 3 and 4 en route to his first win of 2013.
Yeah, we're starting to think we're going to pull it off. We've been running stronger every week, but with weeks we're running out, and it's tough to win here.
Now, one thing that I noticed, it was kind of a little bit of a flashback tonight. The 57 going by the 115, kind of like your old man, and you look like your old man in the car tonight.
Yeah, that's the first time I've done that. It's usually the other way around. So Kenny showed me that move quite a few times, and it was kind of nice to give it back a little bit.
Corellis would pick up the win. Kenny Tremont settling for 2nd, Kyle Armstrong 3rd, Andy Bicchetti 4th, J.R. Hefner 5th. The rest of the top 10 would be Rob Pitcher finishing in 6th, Kyle Hoffman 7th, Brett Hearn coming back to finish 8th, Kyle Sheldon finishing 9th, and the Kingfish, Mike King, rounding out your top 10. Tonight, August 15th, the Super Dirt Car Series invades the Lebanon Valley Speedway for Mr. Dirt Track USA. $17,500 to win. Time to take a look at our picks for tonight's running of Mr. Dirt Track USA. Matt Knowles goes with J.R. Hefner, Scott Morlock, and Ed Viedig with Jimmy Phelps. Myself and Mike Petrucci with Brett Hearn. And Dave Whitney going with Matt Shepard for tonight. We want the answer from you, however. Who do you think is going to win Mr. Dirt Track USA? Log on to our Facebook page and cast your answer at www.facebook.com/RaceProWeekly.
Central New York, brace yourself. The ground will shake, metal will bend, fire will light the sky. TK99 and Absolute Auto present The Eve of Destruction 3 on Tuesday night, August 20th, Brewerton Speedway. Crazy car crashes of Chris Marina. Special appearance by Tim Chitwood of the famous Chitwood Stunt family. Big and small car demo derbies. Fun for all ages. The Eve of Destruction 3. Tickets are just $15. The action begins at 7:30. BrewertonSpeedway.com.
Racing's biggest party is coming. Not just Dirt Week, the Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week. October 9th through the 13th at New York State Fairgrounds. Either is the Triple 20s light up the fairgrounds Friday night. Sunday's 200-lap Super Dirt Car Big Blocks on the Movie Mile. Modified sprint cars and late models, all part of the 5 Super Days of Dirt Track Racing. 5 days, thousands of laps. Get your tickets and event info now at SuperDirtWeekOnline.com. It's one party you won't want to miss. Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week. October 9th through the 13th. There's only one Super Dirt Week.
As the $17,500 to win Mr. Dirt Track USA is on the horizon, one of the drivers that has been one of the top guys throughout the entire duration of the event is the A. Colarusso & Sons car number 74 of J.R. Hefner. Hefner, of course, with 3 victories in the big paying money event, is looking for a 4th one and is starting to come on strong here as we head to the closing stages of the 2013 season, which is where Mr. Dirt is placed here on August 15th. We'll see if Hefner can pull it off as he makes his way in, looking for his 4th win. Mark Flack Jr. was back in the 77F machine this past Saturday, the former champion at the Lebanon Valley Speedway, bringing it in to shake it down before Mr. Dirt. He had a top 5 run going until he lost his brakes with about 8 laps to go and pulled it in, but he feels like he is ready to go for the big money-paying event. Going back to one of the things on Saturday night, we take a look at Steve Huff, who this year has been concentrating on the small block modified division rather than the big block. And so far, you could say it's been paying off because he is the point leader and does have 2 victories in the Steve Huff Motors car number 34 machine. We'll see how Huff will end up doing as the season moves on, as we're just a couple of weeks away from it being over. Modified feature number 2 at Brewerton got started as Dale Plank would lead from the drop of the green in the Sundrop car number 77X machine. Cars on the move would be the 99 of Jimmy Phelps, the 8 of Robbie Bellinger, the 91 of Billy Decker as well. And hey, don't forget Super Matt Shepard, as he made his way up into the top 5, racing with Jimmy Phelps for position. The top 2 in the points would continue to battle up through the field, as this point for the 4th and 5th running positions as Matt Shepard and Jimmy Phelps put on a show with the D-shaped Dirt Demon. Phelps and Shepard back and forth, what you'd like to see at the racetrack. Now they catch up the race leader, Dale Plank, off the corner as Dale Plank would continue to lead this one. But keep an eye on that 9S machine as he'll power it to the inside and take the lead. Super Matt goes to the front. Shepard would bring it around turn number 3 and 4 as the race leader, with Jimmy Phelps looking to get inside the 77X at Dale Plank as well. But that would be all she wrote as Matt Shepard picks up the win at the Brewerton Speedway.
Tell you what, this car's been fast here all year. We've been starting in the back, getting to the front, starting in the back, getting to the front, and we just haven't been able to get all the way there. And I was starting to wonder if it was going to happen at all. I know we only got 2 weeks left after this one, but this car was really good in the second feature.
Top 5 would be Matt Shepard, Jimmy Phelps finishing 2nd, Dale Plank 3rd, Billy Decker 4th, and Matt Holsizer rounding out the top 5. 6 would be Lightning Larry White, 7th, Pat Ward, 8th, Willie Decker, 9th, Chuck Bauer, and Robbie Bellinger rounding out the top 10. 25-lap Jimmy Lionback Memorial would be the Pro Stock feature event on Saturday night, honoring one of the top drivers in the division as the 317 of Frank Twing would lead the early going of this event, with Robbie Speed, Jay Casey, and John Ruthier following. Caution on the speedway early for the 81D of Mark Dupree and the 322 of Jay Casey. When they got back going, Robbie Speed would make a bid to the inside lane at a 317 of Frank Twing, but could not get him at this time as a caution came out of the speedway again for the 17 of Matt Freckleton and Jay Casey. On the restart, Speed would make a bid to the inside lane, but it would be all Frank Twing for the early going in this event. John Ruthier sitting 3rd, Jason Casey making a bid, and here comes Jay Corbin, who has been dominant all season. Corbin, Speed, and Twing would make a big run up at the front of the field until Twing got into the wall on the outside of turn number 2. Jay Corbin would be sent to the rear of the field for his involvement in the accident, and he would have to restart from last. On the restart, Robbie Speed would lead him through turn number 3 and 4, no problem, to pick up his first win of 2013 in the Jimmy Lionback Memorial.
been off all year long. We finally found what we've been missing, and to win on a special Friends night, that was special.
Now, you've had some rough times. I know you switched motors a couple times throughout this year. It's got to be good to finally get the right combination.
Oh yeah, we tried the crate program and just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't get the chassis set up. We got it figured out now. We'll be good for the rest of the year now.
Speed would pick up the win with Jason Casey finishing in second, John Ruthier third, Jay Casey coming back to finish fourth, and Jay Corbin coming from the rear to finish fifth in 4 laps. Other winners on the night, 4-cylinder single cam would go to Brandon Ely and Todd Goldstein, picking up the dual cam feature event. Want the full racing action from Lebanon Valley Speedway? Check out Bob Haynes in the Metro Media video booth at the track, as well as his website, www.metmedvid.com. That's www.metmedvid.com. Small block modifieds making their way out onto the speedway for their feature event. As early in the event, a caution would fly for the Reifenberg Construction number 1 of Jason Harrington and the 13 of Frankie Horde III. He's not too happy. On the restart, Chad Jezio would be looking for his first career open-wheel victory. Brett Haas and Steve Mier also on the move, along with the 250 of Alan Hotailing. Trouble would strike the 250 of Hotailing, though, and that would end his night up in turn number 1 and 2. On the restart, Jezio would continue to lead, but here comes the 55 of Brett Haas. He would duck to the inside of the 25 of Chad Jezio for the race lead with about 4 to go, and he would pick up the win in the small block modified feature event.
Yeah, we had a really fast car right from the get-go, and I think something happened with Chad. I would have really liked to race him if something didn't break in the motor, but we had a really strong run, caught a few breaks early on, and worked our way through traffic.
Haas would pick up the win. Olden Dwyer coming home in second, Kim Lavoie third, Steve Mier fourth, and Chad Jezio rounding out the top 5. Mod Light feature event going to get him started as Justin Williams would take the lead early in the event in the 811 machine. Keep an eye on that number 7J of Alan Fink as he makes his way up through the field in the early going of this event. Fink would make a bid on the outside lane of the 811 of Williams off by turn number 4, and he'd take the race lead at the start-finish line with a gaggle of cars coming behind him. Fink would continue to lead this one as Williams continued to try to make a bid to get the lead back on the inside lane. It would be to no avail, however, as the 7J machine of Alan Fink just too strong in the Mod Light feature event as he would pick up the win. Fink picking up the victory. Joe Isabel would be second, Rick Demo third, Mike Mullen fourth, and Jeff Isabel Jr. round out your top 5. Other winners on the night in the IMCA Modifieds, it was Dale Caswell. 4-cylinder winners were Kyle Young and Chuck Pawelski, and Kyle Coffey, son of Vic Coffey, picking up the win in the 600 Micro Sprints. Pure Stock 3 would make its way out onto the racetrack. Leading him up into turn number 1 and 2 was Mike Eichstedt and the 23 of Hunter Sanchez. See some battling back through the pack. Daniel Sanchez making his way up. Caution will come out on the speedway for the 14 of Aurelier as that would end his night early. And on the restart, here comes the 463 of Daniel Sanchez to the inside. He'd take the race lead. Meanwhile, the Hatch boys, JJ and Ed, making their way up through the field, but it wouldn't be enough as Daniel Sanchez picked up another win in the Pure Stock 3. Sanchez would get the victory. Jeff Melt Sr. was second, Ray Hall Sr. third, J.J. Hatch fourth, and Ed Hatch would round out the top 5. In Pure Stock number 1 would be Chet Watson picking up the win, Chris Streeter second, Cliff Booth third, Gary Vandenberg fourth, Scott Morrison fifth. And in Pure Stock number 2, Pete Wiegand with a win, the Sherman Tankville Sherman second, Stephen LaRochelle third, John Divide fourth, and Joe Shania rounding out the top 5. It's now time to take a look at our lasting impressions driver spotlight with Lebanon Valley Modified star Paul Gilardi.
Racing's biggest party is coming. Not just Dirt Week, the Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week. October 9th through the 13th at New York State Fairgrounds. Either is the Triple 20s light up the fairgrounds Friday night. Sunday's 200 lap Super Dirt Car big blocks on the Moody Mile. Modified sprint cars and late models, all part of the 5 Super Days of Dirt Track Racing. 5 days, thousands of laps. Get your tickets and event info now at SuperDirtWeekOnline.com. It's one party you won't want to miss. Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week. October 9th through the 13th. There's only one Super Dirt Week.
If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. It's now time to take a look at our weekend battles. Up on the asphalt in the North Country at Airborne, it was Jesse Mueller picking up the win. George Foley was second, Patrick Dupree third, Leon Gagnon fourth, and Andy Haywood completing the top 5. The top 5 at the Land of Legends saw Jimmy Phelps pick up the win, Billy Dunn finishing second, Batman Peter Britton third, Gary Tompkins fourth, and Mike Bowman round out the top 5. At the I-88 Speedway, it was Mike Mahaney picking up the win, Sean Walker finishing second, Jim Gabriel Jr. third, Mike Clapperton fourth, and Brett Tonkin rounding out the top 5. At the Track of Champions, Ronnie Johnson would pick up the victory, Craig Hansen finishing in second, Elmo Reckner finishing third, Stuart Friesen coming home in the fourth, and Mike Mahaney with a very strong weekend finishing in fifth. At the Fulton Speedway, veteran Tom Sears Jr. picked up the victory with Pat Ward finishing second, Lightning Larry White third, Billy Decker fourth, and Ryan Phelps rounding out the top 5. At the Orange County Fair Speedway, Cliff Ehrman picked up the victory with Richie Urich finishing second, Donnie Wilson third, Clinton Mills fourth, and Bob McGannon coming home in the top 5, finishing fifth. At the Ransomville Speedway, Mr. Smallblock Pete Bicknell would pick up the win, holding off Chad Brockman for second, Jeff McGinnis third, Scott Kerwin fourth, and Ricky Rickner rounding out the top 5. In the second feature event, as they ran a twin bill as well, the Tornado Todd Burley would pick up the win, Pete Bicknell would finish in second, Brian Sage third, AJ Slideway's Alan Johnson fourth, and Eric Rudolph would round out the top 5. At Utica Rome, Stuart Friesen is now tied on the all-time wins list with Dale Plank as he picked up the victory. Matt Shepard was second, Ryan Phelps third, Jimmy Davis fourth, and Todd Burley fifth.
Central New York, brace yourself. The ground will shake, metal will bend, fire will light the sky. TK99 and Absolute Auto present The Eve of Destruction 3 on Tuesday night, August 20th, Brewerton Speedway. Crazy car crashes of Chris Marina. Special appearance by Tim Chitwood of the famous Chitwood Stunt family. Big and small car demo derbies. Fun for all ages. The Eve of Destruction 3. Tickets are just $15. The action begins at 7:30. BrewertonSpeedway.com.
Rufus Done Right Incorporated. Our name says it all for all your commercial and residential roofing needs. Call 518-382-ROOF. The Choices 301 program takes a multifaceted approach aimed at educating the public about the realities and dangers of what can happen when bad decisions are made inside a motor vehicle. Don't hesitate to designate. Pete Broderson won the 2012 Fonda Pro Stock Championship a year ago and is on the hunt once again as he is the point leader heading into the night of features this weekend. This week, Fast Eddie caught up with him to discuss the point battle this season.
We come into tonight, you're leading the point standings, 5 wins on the season. How would you classify your season so far?
My season is about the same as it was last year. I have great moments where I can't be beat, and then all of a sudden something falls apart, and I got to figure out, trace it back.
You did start the season kind of on fire, and like you said, you kind of went into a cold spot. How tough is that as a driver?
I love running with these guys. They're some of the best. just being able to come here every week and be able to run up front is absolutely just, you can't have better expectation than that. But to be able to win and to beat these guys consistently for a good half of the season was pretty awesome.
What did it mean to you to win this championship?
I had no plans of running a full season this year. Then, just like last year, started out at the beginning of the season, was on top of the board and couldn't look back, and talked to my family about it, talked to my crew about it, and decided to keep going. I had a couple commitments that weekends I was not going to be able to make it. Luckily for me, it rained out those 2 weekends that I was supposed to take off, and here I am.
Speaking of not running a full season, earlier in the season we saw you with a sling on your left arm.
Yeah, it was definitely going to be tied up for a while. Tore a muscle working, and was all planned for surgery. Had the surgery scheduled and decided to hold off. I really have no pain now, so I'm probably not getting the surgery done, and that's the kind of commitment you got to make to racing.
How tough is that as a driver when you are running so well and then all of a sudden an injury looks like it might sideline you? How frustrating was that?
It was pretty frustrating, but I kind of had to look at the big picture, and my health and my family's well-being come first. I just thought about it, and I said I can't go out like this on top. I had to keep going. I was in pain for a couple weeks. It hurt a little bit to run out there. We were trying to figure out a plan to keep the season going, but luckily I'm here, and I've been able to run every race.
You talked about how great it is to run against these drivers week in and week out in the Pro Stock division. Any one of you, 6 to 8 of these guys could be in victory lane, and week in and week out you guys put on the best show. How much fun is it racing with these guys?
Oh, these guys are awesome. For the most part, it's give and take. Everybody, you can't make the pass that you want to make because you know what's going to happen once you get to that corner. Just being able to race Kenny Gates, Kenny Martin, Nick Stone, Ivan Jocelyn. They're some of the best guys going.
You're here at the Track of Champions staring a second title in the face. What does that mean to you?
This place has so much history. I fell in love with this place the first time I looked at it. I had been to a races about 6 times before I started racing myself, and this is a place I wanted to. The momentum and the speed around here is absolutely awesome. The track changes every night. You don't know what you're going to get. There's a lot of room for a lot of side-by-side racing. Not nearly as much damage as I've seen happen to other cars at other tracks. It's just absolutely awesome, this place.
Season is coming to an end here at the Fonda Speedway. Only a few more shows left. Will we see the 53 out on the road at all in 2013?
You most likely will see me at Malta. You'll definitely see me at the mile.
Who do you got to thank for helping you get here this season?
I've got to thank Lazaro's Auto Body. He helps me out quite a bit. Interstate Towing came on board this year, along with K&N Auto Sales. My parents, my father has been so supportive of me every week. My mother, she's a little skeptical. She sometimes sits home, waits to see what the video is going to be because she's afraid something's going to happen to me. My wife, Tracy, and my 2 daughters, Kara and Kaylee, you got to spend 4 nights a week out in the garage just getting the car ready, and I miss a lot of time with them. But Mike Morrissey, Dan Older, my 2 crew guys that help me out every week. I got a couple guys that show up every week, Bill Ferguson, Hans, they come every week to help me out. It's cool having a crew this time. 2 years ago, I didn't have anybody. So last couple of years, things have been picking up.
That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online, www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So for myself, Matt Knowles, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Dave Whitney, Dave D'Alessandro, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.